Now let's talk some hip hop shit, man. I want to talk to Puff right now.
Yes.
Now it was this documentary that claimed, which we know wasn't true.
Yeah. Check this out. We don't talk about things that are nonsense. We don't even entertain nonsense, my brother. So we not even gonna go there with all due respect.
Maybe I said my brother because he got Tupac killed.
We gon' kill all you motherfuckers. Now when I came, fuck Biggie, fuck Bad Boy as a staff, record label, and as a motherfucking crew. If you wanna be down with Bad Boy, then fuck. Come on! You bring it! All you motherfuckers.
Do you think that people really know you?
No, people don't really know me, and that's by design.
Who is this person, the Sean Combs, that we don't know?
We have yet to find out. You have to come along for the ride. You gotta see this movie all the way through, baby. Believe me, I got an action-packed ending for you.
For me, I drop $1 million on your head. Race you and your whole family.
Down the muscle.
What up, guys? It's your boy Quake. If you want to see this Diddy $1 million hit documentary uncut and ad-free, it is available on my Patreon at patreon.com/diverse mentality. The link is in the description below. All my documentaries are available on there, uncut and ad-free. Also, leave a like on this video as it helps us out a lot. Thank you. The story of Tupac's death has been one of many conspiracy theories, and this story I'm about to deep dive into is one of the most major ones that has been brought back to light after Kefi got arrested for the murder of Tupac back on September 7th, 1996. Rewinding back to that night, there are many different sides of the story and many different theories. The questions this documentary is going to try to answer is why did Tupac get killed that night and who put the battery in Kefi D's back to do it. Enter Sean Puff Daddy Combs, or better known in today's world as Diddy. Diddy in 1993 formed the label Bad Boy Records, with one of the first signees being Notorious B.I.G., aka Biggie. Tupac at this time in 1993 had released his second studio album under the TNT Interscope Records label. He had begun to slowly become a household name. Tupac and Biggie in 1993 eventually became friends, frequently being seen together on stage and at events, even freestyling together. However, things changed quickly in 1994. On November 30th, 1994, Tupac was shot 5 times while coming to Quad Studios in NYC for a recording session. There is much speculation on what happened that night, and rumors of being set up by people started. None of the rumors matter because in Tupac's eyes, it was Biggie that set him up. That in turn forever changed the relationship between Biggie and Tupac, thus causing the war between East Coast and West Coast to begin. After the shooting, Tupac was facing prison time for a sexual assault case and had to turn himself in, which he did on December 23rd, 1994. While Tupac was locked up, he said he kept hearing in interviews that Biggie was wishing him well, but he felt that if he really wished him well, he would visit him. He felt Biggie was lying to the public about wanting to see him free. And Tupac felt like this about a lot of East Coast artists that said in interviews they wanted him free, but never took the time to visit him while he was in prison. Then in January of 1995, there were rumblings about a song Biggie had recorded called Who Shot Ya. The song was making its way towards mixtape DJs and was eventually released. Diddy maintains that the song was recorded before Biggie's debut album Ready to Die, which was released on September 13th, 1994. That would mean it was before Tupac's shooting incident at Quad Studios. The song was meant to be on Biggie's album, but ultimately was removed because of Diddy. Despite Diddy removing the song, many speculate that Diddy wanted the song to get released after Tupac got shot to taunt him and potentially fuel the battle between Tupac and Biggie. There is much speculation on if the song was a diss towards Tupac, but in Tupac's eyes, it was a diss and a taunt towards him because he was locked up and didn't have the freedom to respond. Pac felt like he was getting antagonized, and the timing of the release never sat well with Tupac. Tupac and Biggie already had their own issues because of that shooting, but now the CEOs of each one's labels would end up having issues as well. Suge Knight and Diddy had issues prior to all of this, and the story behind the issues between Suge and Diddy go back to when Diddy's friend Wolf killed Big Jake in a Atlanta nightclub. Mob James and Diddy's former bodyguard Gene Deal have refuted those stories and have said that Suge and Diddy's issues stem from something way earlier. This video is brought to you by Manscaped.com, the global men's lifestyle brand that is revolutionizing the landscape of men's grooming. When you've got the confidence of over 10 million men worldwide, it's pretty clear that Manscaped has mastered the art of producing superior men's grooming and hygiene tools for your family jewels. Once again, they're at the forefront, showing their ongoing dominance in providing top-notch quality and unmatched value as we jump into their latest grooming and hygiene bundle. This is the Performance Package 5.0 Ultra, featuring the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra electric trimmer. With the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra, they've taken grooming precision to a whole new level with their next-gen dual safe-skin blade heads, now accompanied by an upgraded trimmer blade and interchangeable foil blade for enhanced performance. First, the upgraded trimmer blade features longer, widened, and rounded teeth that cut through hair with ease. Tough on hair, but yet incredibly gentle on skin. It's a precision powerhouse. But here comes the real showstopper, the foil blade. This foil blade is designed to leave you with a finish that's irresistibly sleek and utterly bare. Not only does it leave your skin smooth and soft, but it moves across your skin softly, snatching even the finest hairs. Now you're probably thinking, how does this dual blade system really stack up? Let's break it down. Start your trimming session using the trimmer blade, then easily pop it off and attach the foil blade to get down to the skin level. It's like getting your hands on two trimmers but only paying for one, a definite win for anyone's playbook. The Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra also has a bigger LED light and introduces a dual temperature feature, thoughtfully engineered to embrace and flatter multiple skin tones. Those hard to reach areas, consider them perfectly lit and ready for their close-up. And if you're part of the OG Manscaped family, this trimmer is a tribute to the classics, upholding the same features that we all come to love: a rechargeable lithium battery, RPM technology for top-notch performance, a travel lock for seamless portability, USB-C charging, a comprehensive 3-level battery life indicator, and the best part, it's still waterproof. And if you're looking to level up your grooming game, the Performance 5.0 Ultra package has the Weed Whacker 2.0 for ear and nose hair. It's waterproof, cordless, and rechargeable, and guess what? It's built with safe skin technology. This bad boy is designed to tackle those nose and ear hairs with ease. And you can elevate your self-care routine with the Crop Soother and Crop Preserver. This dynamic pair is perfectly crafted to keep you feeling cool and comfortable from morning to night. And I love the Crop Soother and Crop Preserver the most because I've gotten insane compliments from women down there when we get to do the fun stuff. Not even joking. It is ridiculous the difference that if you use this versus not using it. It's helped me out a lot. And the most beautiful thing about this Performance Package 5.0 Ultra is you get free gifts. The first one is the Boxers 2.0. These are not your regular boxers. They're designed for ultimate comfort, style, and come with the jewel pouch where you can put those little two bad boys in to cool off. Manscaped also threw in their Shed 2.0. It's like your grooming command center, a place to keep all your grooming gear organized and ready to roll. So join the 10 million men worldwide who've put their confidence in Manscaped for all things grooming and hygiene. Head over to manscaped.com and get the Performance Package 5.0 Ultra today. When you use my promo code DIVERSE, you get 20% off plus free international shipping plus 2 free gifts. That's 20% off plus 2 free gifts plus free shipping when you use my promo code DIVERSE at manscaped.com. Trust me, fellows, your balls will thank you. Fast forward to August 3rd, 1995 at the Source Awards, and Suge Knight calls out Diddy and Bad Boy.
I'd like to tell Tupac to keep his guards up. We ride with him. And one other thing I'd like to say, any artist out there want to be an artist and want to stay a star, and don't want to have to worry about the executive producer trying to be all in the videos, all on the record, dancing. Come to Death Row.
Diddy speaks on the incident during his Drink Champs interview in 2016. He said after the award show, they all attended an after party in the tunnel, and this is where he approached Suge about what he said that night. Diddy claims when he asked Suge, he said he was talking about Jermaine Dupri.
Now, Diddy, that famous Source Award speech where Suge got up there and he said, dancing all in the videos and all that. Did you thought that was you immediately, or it had to hit you later?
I really couldn't believe it because homeboy, me and him were friends. You know, I really had thought we were cool. You know what I'm saying? Right. Cool acquaintances. You know what I'm saying? Just being respectful from people coming into other cities and stuff. Right. And so when he had said, I was like, whoa, I definitely feel where that's coming from. I know that what? Yeah. Are they crazy? I was like, wow. And I was like, you know, I could blow this thing up right now, you know?
Very true.
So to make a long story short, you know, this is where the after party's at, of course, at the world famous tunnel. Right. And so then when I ran up and I asked him, and he said, nah, I was talking about Jermaine Dupri.
Jermaine Dupri then appeared on Drink Champs in 2017 and denied that Suge was talking about him because they were really good friends at that time.
That when he said at the Source Awards,
he was talking about me.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I guess we got an answer.
Which side do you think is a little?
Come on, man, y'all know better than that. That's not. I mean, we was there. I was there. Me having beef with Death Row never was like that. Wasn't even. Suge was in my office. Right. Coming to Atlanta, kicking it, like hanging out at my office.
And to this day, there is still confusion as to why Suge Knight said that during the Source Awards. Some people speculate it was because Suge Knight was envious of Diddy and Bad Boy Records because they were winning all the awards. So in order to regain some control that night, he disrespected Diddy. Then on August 13th, 1995, Biggie and Diddy have their performance at 92.3 The Beat Summer Jam show in Irvine, California. This is where Kefi D says he watched Biggie and Diddy perform and Suge Knight was there watching them. Kefi says he noticed Suge was getting jealous of them.
They had a Summer Jam and it was at Irvine Meadows. We went up there where they had a little revolving stage. So we was up there, we had on our little cowboy shit, jamming with him. So the stage went around, he did his little 3 songs, we went around. Suge was waiting over there on the side over there. You know what I'm saying? So he like, Kefi D, how you know them motherfuckers? Same way I know you motherfuckers, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah, he had, I seen him getting jealous of them dudes then. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
The jealousy theory makes sense to a certain extent because the shooting of Suge Knight's friend Big Jake happened 1 month after the Source Awards. So what was the real reason Suge Knight called out Diddy? It wasn't because of the shooting, because it didn't happen yet. Following that Summer Jam event, roughly a month later on September 23rd, 1995, Jermaine Dupri throws a birthday party in Atlanta and invites all of his celebrity friends. Both Suge Knight and Diddy were invited. At the Jermaine Dupri party, it was relatively civil. However, at the after party is where things took a turn for the worst and forever changed the course of Tupac and Biggie's fate. Suge Knight arrived at the Platinum House nightclub with only one person, his friend Big Jake. Big Jake is an OG Blood who recently got released from prison, but then got hired by Suge Knight and Death Row to be a promoter. According to Goody Mob's Big Gip, who was there that night, Suge Knight was acting very aggressive towards lots of people and even smacking a few individuals. The story of what happened that night gets intertwined with lots of different points of view. The parts that are consistent with everyone that was there is that Suge Knight and Diddy got into an argument. Diddy at this time was surrounded by a lot of street guys, namely Crips. One of the main leaders was Anthony Wolf Jones, who was known to be Diddy's right-hand man and was willing to go to any lengths to protect Diddy. Because of that, things got out of hand quickly when the two camps argued. An off-duty Fulton County deputy sheriff by the name of Chris Howard, who was working security that night, revealed details of what happened, and in an interview with New York Times, the article said this: "The killing was witnessed by Chris Howard, an off-duty Fulton County deputy sheriff sheriff who was working security at the Platinum. In his statement to police that night, Howard said the shooting stemmed from an argument during the party involving individuals associated with Death Row and Bad Boy, including Suge Knight and Sean Combs. At one point, the verbal dispute apparently got so heated that Howard had to step in and break it up. Following a second flare-up involving Robbles and Jones, Robbles is Big Jake, Suge Knight's homie, and Jones is Anthony Wolf Jones, Diddy's security. Howard said he told Combs and Knight and their associates to leave the club. To avoid a clash, Howard said he asked Suge Knight to wait inside the club while he escorted Sean Combs and his crew out of the building. Checking the entrance to the club to make sure that Combs and his associates had left, Howard then turned to Suge Knight and Big Jake and said, "I told Suge, okay, coast is clear," and we walked outside and he got into the limo. Howard told the Times in an interview his partner was just about ready to get into the limo when all of a sudden Diddy's guys came from around the corner and one of them had a gun. "I chased the guy with the gun around the corner," Howard said. "He handed the gun off to another guy. It was a .45, and by the time I back out front, that's when the guy took a shot at Suge's partner. He shot him 2 or 3 times. Howard said he had drawn his weapon but couldn't fire because a crowd had gathered outside the club. He said he saw the shooter jump into a car carrying Diddy's associates. "I couldn't see who was driving, but all the guys who were with Puffy ran to the car when the shooting took place," Howard said. "Then the shooter jumped in and they drove off." Howard then telephoned police for help, but by the time officers arrived, 15 minutes later, the killer had escaped and the shooter's weapon was never recovered. Robbles, aka Big Jake, died a few weeks after the shooting in an Atlanta hospital. There was a lot of speculation that night of who actually shot Big Jake, but according to Jermaine Dupri, he said it was Wolf, and lots of other people believed the same. Diddy that night also reportedly made it clear with Suge that he didn't have control over what happened to his friend and was sorry for the shooting. The murder of Suge Knight's friend is what officially turned a competition in hip-hop into a full-blown beef. With Big Jake being an OG blood that got killed by Diddy's crew of Crips, things escalated quickly into war. Within 1 year, multiple people would end up getting killed, even the superstar of Death Row, Tupac. Fast forward, on October 12th, 1995, Tupac was officially released on bond at the price of $1.4 million, paid for by Suge Knight. In exchange for that release, Tupac officially signed with Suge Knight's Death Row Records. With tensions rising and Tupac officially out, this is where Kefi D comes into the picture. He was a part of the Southside Crips who moved a lot of drugs in the 80s and 90s. Kefi D had made a connection with a guy named Eric Von Zip, who was a big drug dealer in New York. Zip had traveled to the West Coast often to have fun and had met Kefi D at a baseball game in 1990. Through that, they built a drug trafficking relationship. Kefi D would send Zip drugs to move out in New York. Eric Von Zip already had a relationship with Diddy, so it was only a matter of time with all the stuff happening with Suge Knight and Tupac that he would introduce Diddy to Kefi D. Kefi details the first time he met Diddy through Zip in his book, Compton Street Legend. Zip is the one who introduced me to Sean Puffy Combs back in 1991 or 1992. The two were very close friends. I met a few people from New York through Zip. About a year after our initial meeting, Zip came out to the West Coast and invited a few of us to a party they were having for Puffy at the El Rey Theater. At the time, Puffy was the talent director at Uptown Records, working with Jodeci and Mary J. Blige. About 8 or 9 of us took Zip up on his invitation and went to the party at the El Rey Theater with him. Zip was on the guest list, so he led us into the VIP section. That night, we met Jalil Green Eyes from Whodini and Busta Rhymes. Zip brought us over to where Puffy was and made the introduction. "These are my folks." We shook hands and that was it. I could tell the guy Puffy had a little swag, but he was like a young kid to me. Back then, Puffy was broke, relatively speaking, because his music industry career was just getting started. I was the one with the bigger paper back then. From there, Kefi D and Diddy started running into each other a lot more often, and they started becoming closer, so much so that Kefi lent Diddy his 64 Chevy in 1994 when Diddy was getting ready to shoot a music video for Usher's Can You Get With It. As Kefi and Diddy's relationship got stronger over the years and tensions were rising with Suge, Diddy finally felt comfortable enough to ask Kefi D for security. Fast forward on October 15th, 1995, Diddy, for the first time since the murder of Suge Knight's friend in Atlanta, arrived in Los Angeles. According to Kefi D, he had called them and asked if it was okay to perform out there. He was scared of retaliation from Suge Knight and the Bloods. Kefi D says he was so worried that he even hired former Navy SEALs to protect him while he was out there.
After that Big Jake stuff, I guess he knew that Zip knew me, and he called and he said, "How you feel about me going to concerts out there?" I'm like, "What's gonna happen?" He like, "Man, I'm scared of the big boy." I mean, you know, he didn't say it in that type of words, but he like the big CEO guy. You know what I'm saying? The first time we went to the concert, it was in San Diego, and this had Navy SEALs in the next room. They looked like the FBI with earpieces and everything. Like, damn. And that tripped me out. Like, man, what the fuck you even do? He like, man, Joe, I'm just gotta be safe. Like, boy, yeah, he was scared of Suge. Yeah, kind of scared. After that, I guess that shit in Atlanta.
Diddy would often travel with Zip when he would be out in Los Angeles. Sometimes, if Zip couldn't be there, Kefi D would be around to make sure things went smooth when he was in LA. Tupac, after being released from prison, immediately hit the studio to record his upcoming album, All Eyes on Me, and on October 31st, 1995, Tupac recorded what would be the original version of Hit 'Em Up, dissing Diddy, Biggie, and Bad Boy Records, but never officially released it at that time. Faith Evans, who was a singer signed to Diddy's Bad Boy label, reportedly went to the studio to record music with Tupac, not knowing he had signed with Death Row Records. Once she found out he was signed to Death Row, she said things were uncomfortable for her. There were reports that she had heard the original version of Tupac's Hit 'Em Up track and stole the beat from him, and then eventually told Biggie and Diddy about the track. A few months later, on February 3rd, 1996, Biggie and Junior Mafia released a song called Get Money with the same production Tupac had on the original Hit 'Em Up. This infuriated Tupac, as he felt Bad Boy did him dirty once again. This prompted Tupac to scrap the original version of Hit 'Em Up and eventually re-record a new one. According to Kefi D, he met with Diddy multiple times when Diddy and Biggie were touring in California, specifically in 4 locations. BET had a special concert tour they set up for Bad Boy Records and a few special guests. They started the tour in early October of 1995 and finished in late November of 1995. The tour was called BET Presents the Fattest Hip Hop Tour in 95, and they made concert t-shirts. On this t-shirt were all the locations that Biggie and Diddy performed at. Based on Kefi D's statement to police officer Greg Kading, at all these locations in San Jose, Sacramento, Anaheim, and Las Vegas, they were there to protect Diddy. However, on one specific location is when talks of the $1 million bounty started. And that was on November 11th, 1995, where Biggie and Diddy performed at Arrowhead Pond in Anaheim, California. After their performance, they went to a party with Diddy at a hotel suite, and this was the first time Diddy had mentioned that he wanted to take care of Suge Knight. This was in front of Kefi D, Zip, and the Southside Crips.
It was a BET tour.
BET tour.
Where was it at?
We went to one in San Diego, went to one in Anaheim, Irvine, then in Vegas. Irvine was a summer jam.
On all 4 of those occasions, there's San Diego, Anaheim, Irvine, and Vegas. Which ones do you actually talk to Puffy at?
Every one.
Every one of them. Which of those 4 is it when you talk to him about murdering Tupac?
It was really about both of them. Either one of them. It was
Tupac and Suge, you mean?
Yeah, Anaheim.
So it's Pharrell, you, Puffy, Zip, and a bunch of Southsiders. And what Puffy makes kind of an announcement?
Yeah, that was stupid as hell too, you know.
What did you actually hear? What was the words, if the best you can remember what he says?
Shit, he said he'd give us anything for them dudes there, you know? Yeah.
He'll give you anything for these guys' head?
Yeah, he said it in front of all the people. I couldn't believe it. You know what I'm saying?
In Anaheim?
Yeah. Whole room full of Crips.
So this is after Jake got killed? So he was on point. He was worried about something happening.
Yeah.
Suge had mouthed off about a bunch of different stuff, so he was scared.
He was scared to death. Yeah.
Okay.
When this conversation first started, Kefi D says it wasn't super serious. Diddy was scared of mainly Suge Knight at this moment and implied that he would need him taken care of, but didn't really double down on what he said in the following days. Then a few months go by and things escalate once again. On December 15th, 1995, a record promoter for Diddy's Bad Boy Records, Mark Bell, gets assaulted at a Death Row Xmas party by Suge Knight. He gets asked where does Diddy and his family stay when they are out in the West Coast. After this, word got back to Diddy that Suge Knight was looking for him in the West Coast. This prompted Diddy to increase his security with the Southside Crips whenever he went to the West Coast. Nobody knew what would happen if Suge Knight and Pac ran into Biggie and Diddy, but they would soon find out next year. On March 29th, 1996, the annual Soul Train Awards was happening. Both Biggie and Tupac were nominated for awards, so everyone expected the two to be there. Tupac was nominated for Best Rap Album and won with Me Against the World, but he allegedly wasn't allowed to go on stage and accept the award. They said he wasn't there when he was, and the crowd during the TV presentation was even heard booing. After that, Biggie was nominated for Rap Song of the Year and won with One More Chance. Biggie did go on stage and accept the award. After accepting his award, Biggie and Diddy were immediately ready to leave and go on a flight to North Carolina. However, Don Cornelius, the founder of the Soul Train Awards, interrupted Biggie and asked them to stay longer, and while that was happening, Suge Knight and Tupac came through the backstage area, and from there was a face-off. Pac and Suge confronted Biggie and Diddy, and words were exchanged. There were a lot of different reports on what happened, but C. Gutta, who was friends with Biggie, pulled out a gun, and before things really got out of hand, the people of the Nation of Islam intervened in the middle to calm things down. Ultimately, nothing serious happened that night, and both parties left without either of them getting harmed. This confrontation, though, was a clear message that anytime Pac and Suge ran into Biggie and Diddy, there would be issues. After this incident on April 19th, 1996, it enticed Tupac to go back into the studio and re-record a more vicious version of Hit 'Em Up. The production got a remake as well as flipping Biggie and Lil' Kim's Get Money track into Take Money. The song also took shots at anyone else that had issues with Death Row Records. Jadakiss details the moment Diddy and Biggie heard Tupac's Hit 'Em Up diss track for the first time, and it was at Total's Kissin' You remix video shoot. That Total song was pushed for radio promotion on April 15th, 1996, and the music video was reportedly shot during Biggie's birthday on May 21st, 1996. So that would mean Biggie listened to the diss track on his birthday. Hit 'Em Up was then officially released on June 4th, 1996, and this song getting released escalated things to a whole different level.
We bust on bad boys for life. Plus, Puffy trying to see me weak. Hearts I rip. Biggie Smalls and Junior Mafia some market. Bad boy murdered on wax and kill. Fuck me and get your cats peeled.
With the release of Hit 'Em Up making waves, according to Kefi D, this worried Diddy even more. Initially, Diddy was worried about Suge Knight, but now he worried about Tupac being a loose cannon like Suge too. Diddy then responded to Tupac's Hit 'Em Up in the same month of his release by dropping the Volume 4 of his Bad Boy mixtape series. The first track of the tape is titled Stop Yappin', and on this track, Diddy adds commentary to Tupac's Hit 'Em Up track, responding to all of Pac's taunts. Also, on track 14 titled Talking Shit, Diddy confirms that he will respond, but he will move in silence.
Come on! You bring it! Oh, you motherfuckers sound upset. Why do you sound so upset?
All of y'all motherfuckers. You motherfuckers can't be us or see us.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up. Give him a round of applause. The Academy Award goes to the actor, Tupac Shakur. Give him a round of applause. Anything else to say? Tupac made a motherfucking record. This is my man. This is me. This is my crew. This is my company. And I loved it. I fucking loved it. Because it let me know the bitch he really was. And all y'all asking me questions about what's going on and how I feel and what I'm going to do. As I said, listen to me.
always move in silence, so I have nothing to say to you.
In the same month of June 1996, Kefi D got a call from Zip saying that Diddy wanted to meet with him. They asked for him to come to Greenblatt's Deli on Sunset. And here's what Kefi D details in his book about that night. One night when Puff and Zip were in town, I got a call from Zip. Yo, Puff said he needs to speak with you. Come to meet us at Greenblatt's Deli on Sunset. A few of my partners and I went down to meet Puff and Zip at Greenblatt's Deli and Fine Wines. The place sat between a strip club and the Laugh Factory on Sunset Boulevard. We went in through the back entrance and started smoking weed on the back patio. That evening, Ron Isley, aka Mr. Biggs, and Angela Winbush pulled up in there driving a triple white Rolls Royce. The rag was white, the seats were white, the interior was cocaine white. That thing was pretty. Miss Winbush had a white fur wrapped around her. They were supremely hard. Zip and Puff were double dating that night. Zip was with one girl and they brought one of the girl's cousins. That was actually from our neighborhood as a tag-along for Puffy. The girl from our neighborhood had the reputation of being loose, but Puffy didn't know that. We were all laughing at that fool because he was hugged up and kissing her, but he didn't know the kind of girl she was back in the hood. A group of us went downstairs to place an order. I remember ordering a pastrami sandwich. Then I added, give me a couple of those Tigherini Rosé. Puff waved at me over to step to the side with him. I need to speak with you, big dog. We stepped off to the side where we were able to speak privately. Like a lion on the Senjaretti, I'm able to smell and see fear. Puffy was full of fear. What's up? I asked. I have a couple of problems I need handled. Big CEO and Pac. I looked at him in his eyes and without hesitation I responded, that's not a problem. We can make that happen. After our brief convo, we went back upstairs and ate. He ate at the table with the broads and I was with my folks. I didn't tell my guys what Puffy and I discussed while we were eating. I waited until we were in the car on the way home. That guy Puff wanted us to take care of Big CEO and Tupac. I bet the guy would give us $1 million for these guys' heads.
What happened that made it something other than just him frustrated and boasting? Now, I'll give you guys anything. I mean, what made it a specific, like, hey, I'm serious, I want you guys to kill these guys? I mean,
when he told me the greenback.
How's it go? How's the conversation go? I mean, okay, listen, I'll do it, but I need $500,000, or, you know, I've got somebody who will do it, but I need $300,000. I mean, we need really specific details regarding that.
Yeah, we wanted $1 million.
You said you walked downstairs. Did he say, come meet me downstairs?
Yeah, he said, come on downstairs and talk to me.
Oh. He tells you, seriously, man, I need to get rid of these guys. I mean, he's looking at you in the eyes and he's like scared.
Yeah.
So in your opinion, the specific reason he asked you to come downstairs and talk to him was about that thing, not about liquor or anything. It was about that. Okay.
You tell him we'll do it for $1 million, and he's like, okay, I'll do it for $1 million. He agrees. You shake on it or something like that.
Yeah.
What happened?
Gentleman, he like, man, we'll wipe their ass out quick. You know, it's nothing.
Who brought up the amount of $1 million?
Shit, he did.
Puffy did?
Yeah.
Okay. Was it you?
No, it wasn't me. $1 million out there. Yeah, take it for 50. You know what I'm saying? Shit.
So he brought up them $1 million.
Yeah. Them project dudes will kill your ass for $1,500. You know what I'm saying? Shit.
And there it is, the final conversation Kefi D had with Diddy about now getting Tupac and Suge Knight killed for a cool $1 million. $500,000 bounty for each of their heads. In July of 1996, there is another confrontation among Diddy and Suge's crews at the Lakewood Mall in California. Mob Piru Blood member Trayvon Lane went to the Lakewood Mall with a death row chain on. These death row chains were handed out by Suge to his close friends. Kefi D says he had a little homie by the name of Victor that was going to college. So he gave him some money and told him to get some clothes at the Lakewood Mall to get fresh for college. Victor arrived at the mall first, initially alone. Kefi D says that's when Mob Piru Blood members associated with Suge started to threaten him. Multiple different stories about this incident were reported, but according to Kefi D, other Southside Crips finally made it at the mall and backed up Victor. They all got into a fight, and the report is that a death row chain got snatched. Some say it got taken off Trayvon Lane's neck. Some say it wasn't snatched, it just fell off due to them fighting. During this fight, Kefi D's nephew Orlando Anderson was there and fought. Trayvon Lane recognized Orlando's face after the fight, and they all kept it moving. On September 7th, 1996, Tupac along Suge Knight attended Mike Tyson's fight against Bruce Seldon. Kefi D, his Southside Crip homies, and Eric Von Zip all went together to the Mike Tyson event. The fight ends quickly as Mike Tyson gets a quick knockout. From there, Tupac and Suge Knight are leaving the MGM building, and Suge's homie Trayvon Lane recognizes Orlando Anderson from when they fought in July and tells Tupac, "That's one of the guys who jumped me and tried taking my chain." Tupac alongside Suge Knight jump Orlando Anderson. They all end up leaving. Orlando suffers some injuries with a dislocated shoulder. Kefi D details in his book what happened after. While we were waiting for the valet to bring out our cars, Zip seized the opportunity and called me over to his Benz. Zip was a big-time New York player, pimp and hustler who used to come out to California to handle his business and kick it with us sometimes. As I walked up to the driver's side window, I noticed that the rapper Foxy Brown was in the car with Zip. So he instructed her to step out the car and motioned for me to jump in. Zip had a hidden compartment that he opened up, reached in, and pulled a black 40 Glock out. He turned to me and said, "It's time to get the money." Zip handed me the 17-shot pistol, which I promptly put down the back waist of my pants. I hopped out the car, held the door open for Foxy Brown to get back in, closed the door, and they pulled off. Tupac and Suge Knight were planning on heading to Suge's grand opening of his new club, 662. While on the way there, Kefi D and 3 others in the white Cadillac identify Tupac and Suge Knight in a BMW. They make a U-turn, and the second they pull up next to them, they start shooting. Ultimately, Tupac gets shot multiple times, and Suge gets grazed in the head. Tupac doesn't die on the scene, but immediately gets transferred to the hospital for surgery. The following day, Kefi and his crew head back to Compton. News started spreading quickly about Tupac getting shot. Within a few days, news outlets started slowly reporting on what they believed was a suspect. In the news, they mentioned Kefi D's nephew, Orlando Anderson, as a person of interest. Because of all the rumors and attention, Kefi D's Colombian Connect for Drugs set up a meeting that Sunday afternoon and essentially cut ties with him due to all the heat surrounding Kefi and his crew. After losing their major connect, Kefi D was now concerned his whole empire he built was starting to crumble. Without a major connect, money was slowing down. A few days later, Kefi says he was hanging out with Zip, and Diddy called Zip and asked, "Was that us?" in regards to the Tupac shooting. Kefi at the time didn't say anything. Zip did say that was us, and Diddy allegedly responded in an excited way, then said, "We will talk more later when we meet in person."
Okay, so you get back to LA the next day, Zip calls you, says, meet me at the hot wing place. Where at?
Picture my piece.
Melrose with Marin. You guys go over there, Zip shows up. You guys, what happens after? What's the conversation with you and Zip?
Puff kept on calling, was that us? That us? And he told me, yeah, it was us. Fade called him. Ooh. I said, we go get our little money. I said, all right, I'm gonna go back out there. Ooh.
Okay, so Puff called Zip and said, was that us? Faith called Zip and said, was that us?
Would you talk to Puff too?
Yeah.
When you're at the hot wing place talking to Zip,
Puff calls. He calls. Yeah.
On Zip's phone or your phone?
Oh, Zip phone.
And Zip gives you the phone?
Yeah. Okay. Kept on saying, was that us? Zip was like, yeah, that's us.
What's his response?
He was happy as hell, shit.
And did you ask him then about his money? About your money, I mean? When you gonna get paid or whatever?
No. I say that on the phone. Zip, go get our cash.
Okay, so you tell Zip we need to get paid. What does Zip say? I'm gonna go back home and have it.
Yeah, I'll get back with y'all. Yeah.
A few days later, Tupac officially dies in the hospital on September 13th. This, in Kefi D and Zip's eyes, was the confirmation for payment. Collecting the payment was a whole different story.
You guys never got any money?
Never.
For anything?
Nothing. Not even a pair of Sean John drawers. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. It seemed like Puff do that though. He seemed like every time some bad shit go around here, it look like it's some shit on the grass. He don't step around that shit. He get away from that bullshit.
There are two different stories when it comes to the $1 million hit. The first one is that Diddy allegedly ordered the hit of initially Suge Knight only since he was the muscle. But once Tupac released Hit 'Em Up and kept running his mouth, Diddy added him to the hit list, and because it was now 2 of them, Diddy allegedly offered Kefi and Zip $500,000 for each to get killed. The second story is that Diddy allegedly offered $1 million for each of them, meaning the total offer was $2 million if they got Suge and Tupac. We are going to explore both stories. After Tupac got killed and Zip confirmed to Diddy it was them that played a role in killing him, roughly 4 to 6 weeks would pass before Kefi D would meet with Zip and ask about getting paid again. He met with him at a popular club called the Roxbury on Sunset Boulevard and asked about the money, and Zip said he still hasn't gotten the money for the hit.
At some point, you reach out again for Zip, or how do you try to get paid?
I kept calling his ass.
Was he avoiding you?
Yeah. We met him at Roxbury.
You finally got a hold of him, you told him I love you?
He said, I'm back out here, meet me at Roxbury. At the club on Sunset.
Yeah.
And they was shooting pool, and them Diamond Riders ready to beat their ass.
Who's they? Zip as well.
Zip, D-Mac, who was that? Fleetwood.
Now, when you have a meeting, is D-Mac and Fleetwood all of them there with you guys?
No, it was just me and him. I was talking, I said, what's up with your cash? And they ain't gave it to me yet. We need money, motherfucker. They took our guns, all that shit. We need some money.
And you want to
make got millions, and more than, you know.
And your business shut down, you wasn't doing no business, nothing.
Y'all ran my Colombian out of town, man.
Buckle up, because this is where the story gets really interesting. Gene Deal, who was Diddy's former bodyguard, reveals he saw Eric Von Zip with a check for $1 million. He says it was written to him for his ownership stake in Blackground Records.
After Pac got killed, we heard about, somebody got a check or something like that. Zip came up on my man's spot, and he came up there, and I heard TK Kirkland interview with you. He said he got a check for $5. It wasn't no check for no $500,000. Zip had a check in his right back pocket, and that check was for $1 million. He said he got Jimmy Henchman got him the check from Barry Hankerson or something like that. Barry Hankerson, I think, there was a Leah uncle or manager or something like that, gave him that check for Blackground Records. That's what he said. I didn't know he had a record label. I didn't know he had a record company, Blackground label, but that's what he said he got the check for. You understand? I'm not the only one that's seen the check. There's other people that I'm not going to mention their name, but they know.
So, what is Blackground Records? It is a record label founded by Aaliyah's uncle, Barry Hankerson. Barry Hankerson was someone close with Diddy in the music industry. Even Jimmy Henchman was a music consultant / A&R over at Blackground Records. Jimmy was the one who admitted to shooting Tupac at the 1994 Quad Studios incident, so you can see how all these things tie together. Blackground Records was founded in 1993. Ironically, in 1996 is when Blackground Records inked a new deal with Atlantic Records, the same year Tupac died. This is important because usually when a company changes ownership or distribution deals, it can cause investors or owners to sell off their portions of the company. And if Gene Deal is telling the truth in seeing Eric Von Zip with $1 million check written from Blackground Records, then the theory would be that Diddy conspired with Barry Hankerson and Jimmy Henchman to give Zip a percentage of Blackground Records that would be worth $1 million to sell off, essentially funneling the money by pretending Zip owned a percentage of the label. And what better time to do it than when the label is changing directions in 1996, the same year Tupac got killed. However, like I mentioned earlier, there were reports that Zip only got $500,000 because he didn't get Suge Knight killed as well. Regardless, Zip ended up getting his money. Kefi D, however, didn't. Kefi D reports he tried collecting the money by contacting Zip and Diddy multiple times, but Zip always said he never received any payment. Eventually, Kefi D got locked up in 1998 and served 4 years in prison up until his release in 2002. Plus, things went bad on Diddy's side with Biggie getting killed in March of 1997. Once Kefi D was released in 2002, he says he tried collecting the money from Diddy still. Kefi D's friends would end up running into Diddy at multiple social gatherings. Win Prince, who was a close friend of Kefi's, ran into Diddy at a Snoop Dogg house party, and Win ended up getting Diddy's number, in which Kefi tried calling, but Diddy never picked up. Kefi D said to his friends if he ever ran into Diddy again, he would rob him of his jewelry until he got paid what he was owed. Kefi D also lost contact with Zip, which means he was fully out of the loop on what happened with the money.
We ain't seen him a couple of times. Yeah. Oh no, you seen the boy, Buck. At one of the Snoop parties out there. That Snoop house.
Oh, in Long Beach?
Claremont.
His house.
Yeah. They all on pictures and everything. He came. I said, man, you didn't call me. No, dog. I thought you gonna answer this. Motherfucker. I said, you get the number. You got the number. We call. Motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Well, I was seeing his ass, man. Give me the jewelry and everything, you know? Stupid motherfucker. I said, you let him give you a number? That was so stupid. Why you get the jewelry? Let me all, you know what I'm saying? Collateral. Yeah.
You call him a message?
Yeah, he ain't answer. The man got about 50 phones. He throw that shit away. The phone's easy, man.
Since you've been out of prison, have you talked to Zip?
Not one time.
And what about Puffy?
Not one time.
Okay.
I tried to call him several times, though. That little daddy out shit.
You got messages?
Hell yeah.
Kefi D wanted the money so bad, he even attended Diddy's Hollywood Walk of Fame ceremony on May 2nd, 2008, in hopes of getting in contact with him again, but that failed. Then, in spring of 2008, Kefi D ran into Diddy's close friend and reported bodyguard Darius D-Mac Rogers at a gas station in California. Kefi D pressed D-Mac about the payment, and D-Mac said it was already paid to Zip in the amount of $500,000. This was the first time Kefi heard that Zip had the money. D-Mac even said that Zip and Diddy fell out over Zip not paying Kefi D his portion of the money.
Where'd you run into D-Mac at?
I made him off the train at the 76 station.
And D-Mac's
I like, man, call a boy. Call your boy, you know. I like, man, call your boy. He like, man, what's that name still, man? What's Zip behind that shit? Zip got that money. I like, what? He like, yeah, man, dude gave Zip the money.
Okay, you run into D-Mac in the Valley a couple months, 3 months ago?
Yeah, in like fall, summertime.
Talking about this year?
Yeah. And Zip got paid. They fell out behind that old shit. Plus, Big got killed. Shit, I better not see his ass.
Okay, they fell out. Behind what?
Behind the money. They behind Big. Big got killed 6 months later. I thought y'all had us, dog.
Zip keeping the money.
Zip kept the money for us, bro.
And he didn't give it to them, and then Big got killed.
Yeah, all that. I thought y'all y'all had our back. I think if he would have just gave us half the money, you know what I'm saying? I would stay strong, like fuck it.
Kefi D, after all these years, finally gets confirmation the money was paid to Zip, but Zip never told Kefi D about the payment. Zip was always known for finessing people out of money. Mike Tyson even said he finessed $600,000 from Don King back in the mid-90s. So this theory that Zip had the money and never paid Kefi D his portion was believable due to Zip's track record of finessing people. Then in late 2008, Kefi D ended up working with the feds to not face prison time for other drug-related charges. He got a proffer agreement where he could tell the truth on everything he's done relating to Tupac and Biggie and not get convicted for it for that day only. On June 17th, 2008, Kefi D worked with the feds to try to get Zip to admit to getting paid for the hit on Tupac, but they had no luck. The question now is, what did Eric Von Zip do with the money that allegedly was paid to him by Diddy? The rumors are he used the money to open up a nightclub in his hometown of Harlem, New York. However, the timelines on this are a little far off, so let me explain. Zip's club in Harlem was called Zip Code, and based off my research and searching up the address, I found that the location of the building was renovated back in 2005. Then I stumbled upon a video posted on YouTube by Now What showing the Zip Code nightclub. This video footage is from the grand opening of the club. While watching the video, I wanted to try and guess when the video footage was taken, so I listened to the music playing in the background. And the newest song I heard in the background from that video was Bobby Valentino's Slow Down, which was released on February 14th, 2005. As I continued watching the video, Stevie Wonder was being interviewed supporting Zip and then talked about his upcoming album, A Time to Love. The release date for this album was September 27th, 2005. Based off this, I knew this footage was shot between the dates of February 14th to September 27th. Then I looked at what type of clothing people were wearing. Everyone was wearing heavy clothing from long sleeve to jackets, which would mean the weather outside at this time was cold in New York. Based off all that, I assume this footage was shot in March or April of 2005. Around those months and year was the grand opening of Zip's club, Zip Code. With all this being said, if Zip got paid in 1996 immediately after Tupac's death, then that means it took him 9 years to use the money to buy the nightclub, which is a long time to sit on some money. Could this be true? Possibly. Maybe he waited until the heat from Tupac and Biggie's death settled down and decided he used the money then. However, Zip was rich before and after Tupac and Biggie's death, so who knows what that money was really used for. Now here's the million-dollar question. Can Diddy get potentially charged for murder for hire? Since Kefi D never got a penny of that money, it would be nearly impossible to link Diddy to any of this. There would have to be bank statements taken from the 90s, and Blackground Records would have to get investigated, as well as Zip's bank statements too.
If Puff would have gave Von Zip a check for $1 million, that's traceable. The prosecutor, they do a trace on that check and that company. Was that company worth $1 million when he sold it? Why did they give him a check for the company? How long was the company put in existence that he sold, and was it worth $1 million? That's what I would do as an investigator. Puff was friends with Jimmy Henchman. Did he make any kind of deals with them? Follow the money.
Do you think that Diddy could somehow be dragged into this case criminally? I've always said no.
I agree with you. Yeah, I don't see how it could happen. Not based on the testimony of just Kefi D. When you look at the monumental task of trying to prosecute a music icon, a multi-million, close to $1 billion, you're talking about a defense team that will be very difficult to overcome, that would be representing Puffy. And your only person on the stand is Kefi D, who's...
That's your star witness,
That's
basically.
your star witness, yeah.
Right.
Good luck with that.
The reality is, this is something that happened over 25 years ago. The main person who got the money, Eric Von Zip, died back in September 2012 from cancer. If the feds actually looked into this earlier, back when it was first mentioned, which was in a lawsuit by Kirk Burroughs, who was the former president of Bad Boy Records. In his lawsuit, he was the first person to publicly say Diddy was the one who hired someone to murder Tupac. This lawsuit was public back in October of 2003. This would have been the time to look into this and potentially try to get some more information on what Kirk knew, but no type of law enforcement followed up. Diddy has always denied the allegations, but Kefi D as well as others have always been adamant that he ordered the hit on both Suge Knight and Tupac. I can see why people think Diddy is capable of something like this, because even Diddy himself said on Black Rob's Muscle Game track he'd put $1 million hit on his enemies.
Fuck with me, I drop $1 million on your head. Race you and your whole family.
As of July 30th, 2024, Tupac's family lawyer has vowed to put resources into investigating whether Diddy really had anything to do with Tupac's murder. This is what the article says. Tupac's family is clearly disturbed over an allegation that Diddy may have played a role in the late rapper's murder, something they're now digging into with a new legal team who plan to get to the bottom of it and force action if they find anything there, TMZ has learned. Sources with direct knowledge tell us members of Tupac's still living relatives have retained attorneys Alex Spiro and Christopher Clore, as well as a team of investigators, to look into Kefi D's resurfaced allegation that Diddy offered to pay him and his crew money to take Pac out in the 90s. Diddy was never charged over that claim, and we've even heard cops in Vegas never took Kefi's claim to be legit. However, Tupac's family clearly wants this vetted thoroughly. We're told the family feels there might be something to this claim, and with the legal team they've brought on, they're hoping to dig up any potential evidence that exists to corroborate it, as Spiro and Clore plan to run down any and all leads they find. Our sources say the Diddy allegation will be the main focus of this private investigation, and we're told the team is confident they'll surface potential evidence, including more legal documents. If they do, we're told any material that implicates Diddy in alleged wrongdoing will be passed on to the proper authorities to be looked into for possible criminal charges. And we should say there's no statute of limitations on murder. If nothing comes about on the criminal front, we're told Tupac's family would potentially look into filing a wrongful death suit. Again, assuming they uncover evidence to do so. It's worth noting Diddy has explicitly denied any involvement in Tupac's murder a handful of times over the years, and he's never been arrested as it pertains to this years-old rumor. Nonetheless, Tupac's family wants to clear the air on this once and for all. At the end of the day, there needs to be more evidence in order to get Diddy charged with anything relating to Tupac. Diddy is worth hundreds of millions of dollars and has the best lawyers to defend him. Even though Diddy probably won't ever get charged with putting a hit on Tupac, he is facing various sexual assault lawsuits, and with his house getting raided, I'm sure he'll be facing lots of consequences for his actions. What do you guys think? Did Diddy really play a role in Tupac's murder? Let us know in the comments below.
Counts the day you put out a hits, the day Diddy admits that he put the hit out that got Pac killed,
That's it for today's video. If you guys want to support this channel further, you can do so at patreon.com/diverse mentality. For just $3 a month, you can get my videos uncut and raw the way I intended them to be, but couldn't because of YouTube. Plus, you also get access to our Discord community, where we have a great community talking about hip-hop and various other things. It's very dope. So only $3 a month. I'd really appreciate the support. Also, follow us on social media at QuakeGW and at Diverse Mentality. Thank you so much for the support, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.